Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to CGTN's special live streaming program, The Hype, where minds collide and ideas amplify. I'm your host, Zhang Zhenli, coming to you live from Beijing City. Well, before we start, let's have our daily hot water, okay? Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. I think the population of drinking hot water, 热水 or warm water, these days has been increasing like crazy. And behind this trend is a phenomenon called becoming Chinese. And we're very lucky to have Sherry, who is also one of the frontrunners of this trend. Sherry, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Oh my gosh. No, it is I who is lucky to be here right now.
No, the honor's ours.
I'm so excited.
Me too. And I heard you just passed your 23rd birthday, right? Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, no, just getting older by the minute right now. It's fine. It's okay. Drinking hot water is going to keep me young.
That's something I'm going to do every day now.
Yeah.
And join me offline are my two very cute colleagues. And how about introducing yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Shanaz, a South African living in Beijing, and I'm in a very Chinese time in my life.
Okay, and Freddie.
Hey everybody, my name's Freddie. I'm from the UK. I've been in China now for almost 2 years, and day by day I'm becoming a little bit more Chinese.
Well, I will get back to you about like how you're becoming Chinese later, but now I think we all have a lot we want to ask Sherry. So I'm gonna start by asking you, Sherry, I know now all of a sudden you've gained so much attention. What are you feeling right now? Is it like, are you under a lot of pressure?
I'm in a state of shock right now. I'm in a state of shock just because I don't think anyone expected this virality. I have not expected this virality, but I am feeling more excitement than anything else. I'm trying to wrap my head around all of this, but no, it's been super exciting to see so many people just embracing Chinese culture. So yeah, I'm very excited.
And how come did you what was the first time you came up with the idea of like creating this kind of content? Like what's on your mind at the time?
Oh, so when you say creating content, do you mean creating content in general or just creating sort of the trend itself?
Like both.
Okay, I guess while taking a step back, last summer, like last May, after I graduated college, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I I worked so hard in school. I worked so hard in school. Why don't you give me a graduation gift? Because last May I graduated college, and my mom's like, okay, like, well, what do you want? I'm like, how about we do an Asia trip? I visited China many times in my life, but it was always just visiting family. I don't think I've ever really got to do like a world tour, By world tour, I mean China tour. So then I was like, I want to go to Xi'an. I want to eat all the good foods. I want to go to Chengdu. I want to see the pandas. Like this is what I want. And so throughout my travels from Xi'an, Chengdu, Guiyang, I took a bunch of photos. And then I took like obviously it's very popular to take like photos in China, especially in traditional Chinese wear. So I took handful pictures in Guiyang, and then I posted it on TikTok. And then that was the first time I want to say I got like sort of like viral. Like by viral, I mean I just got maybe about like 100,000 views, but that was a lot at the time for me. And then after that, I kind of came to a realization that I was like, oh, okay, well, if people really like learning about, Chinese culture, when they're asking me like, what is this? Like, where did you take these photos? Where can I buy a handful? If you're so interested in my culture, I want to share more. So that kind of led into starting from July after I came back from my trip. I was going to share more about Chinese culture. But the thing is that my videos are never pre-planned. Like I just kind of film what's on my mind. Like I film very spontaneously. What's on my mind is what I post. And when I filmed my like first viral becoming Chinese video, it was like, oh, if you're seeing this on your For You page, that means you're Chinese. That was just because that's the humor that I have with my friends. Like when I see my friends wearing house slippers, when I see my friends using chopsticks, I'm like, oh my God, a Chinese baddie before me. I'm like, you are so Chinese. And so I think like subconsciously, whatever it might be, I just, kind of shared that humor online as well.
You mentioned a lot about being a Chinese baddie, and I want to be a Chinese baddie, especially because I'm now living in China. What does it take to be a Chinese baddie?
And what is a Chinese baddie?
Yeah.
Can Freddie be a Chinese baddie as well?
I'm wondering, as a guy, can I be a Chinese baddie as well?
Freddie, you are already a Chinese baddie. You're drinking your hot water. All three of you are Chinese baddies.
Thank you.
To answer your question, what does it take to be a Chinese baddie? I don't think it takes a lot. I think you just have to be, it's more about the mindset. You have to be open to embracing Chinese culture. You have to be willing to learn about Chinese culture, but more so you have to be confident when you do. And that's why I also like to use the term baddie, because when I'm speaking with my friends, I kind of like tell them like, but you're a baddie, you know, like you're a baddie, like own it, like be confident. And I know that embracing new cultures can be kind of intimidating. I grew up in America. I am constantly surrounded by different cultures, especially when you're unfamiliar. You don't necessarily know if you like have the space, like you're just very unfamiliar. It's very like out of the box for you. And so for that reason, with my audience, I want to make sure that they feel empowered to learn more about Chinese culture. And that's why Chinese baddie.
So you're like calling your audience, or calling your users, calling the users baddies in terms of you're just calling them as if they're your friends. So like that's
100%.
That's very
I think
good.
it's actually family at this point. I think Sherry has become everyone's unofficial Chinese cousin.
I actually heard a saying calling your Chinese mom like the toughest Chinese mom. Like you're
Tiger mom.
telling us you are not supposed to. You drink your cold water today. That's
No, exactly. I'm channeling my inner mother. Like it's funny because I don't think I've ever expected like online to ever call me mother, just because, you know, I'm also just like, you know, like a 23-year-old
like younger
girl
than
in
me.
her own fandoms. You know, I call my favorite celebrities mother. So it's kind of funny when people are calling me mother. I'm like, oh my God, this is such an honor, a level of respect, especially, you know, since Chinese culture is all about like respecting your elders. I'm like, wow. This is a title that I will, you know, take very seriously.
Hope there's no
But
pressure
people
there
have
as
called
well,
me-
Sherry, to be a mother.
Oh yeah.
No pressure.
Hopefully not. But you know, I'm raising Chinese baddies. I'm raising
Yeah.
divas here.
Do
Yeah.
you receive any like people sharing their videos or pictures like doing role playing being a Chinese in your DMs? Like, is there any funny one that you remember the most?
Not just my DMs. I feel like all throughout my comments, my For You page, people are tagging me in both like different platforms, TikTok, you know, Instagram, just telling me that they're boiling their apples every single morning. They're drinking their hot water. They're wearing their house slippers. There have been a few. I think honestly, any video that I come across where they're just like cousin Sherry as they're cutting their apples, like they're like cousin Sherry's telling me to drink boiled apples in the morning. So that has been one. Oh, you know what has been super memorable?
Well, I think it's always interesting to like receive all these comments on DM. Sometimes like when I posted a video about introducing Chinese culture, I also received some comments that like, it just made me reflect on the surrounding I'm living. Like there's so many things I took for granted that I realized for foreigners, there's so many things that feel so attractive to them. Like, for example, you're back, Sherry.
With us. Hey.
We just can't wait to hear. You stop at the perfect moment of not telling us what happened. We're really looking forward to see the most funny one. What was that?
Oh, yes. So a famous TikTok creator, like I have watched her many times. Her name is Trisha Paytas, and she actually has her own podcast. And her husband were talking, like her husband was like, oh, like I boiled my apples with my goji berries this morning. And like he gave it to her as well. And she tried it for the first time. That was the most memorable one because that was when I was seriously in a state of shock. I was like, a famous TikTok creator that I have like watched, you know, growing up, like I've like, my friends have spoken about many times, like she referenced my TikTok. And then like I showed up actually, like they put like a video of me and everything. I was just like, that was probably my most memorable one. I'm adding that to my resume.
Oh, wow. Well, that's the power of the internet.
Exactly.
And
I mean,
social media.
did you expect it to blow up at this level? And
It's massive.
do people recognize you when you're walking down the street?
Oh my gosh, it's so flattering that you have deemed me that level of celebrity. Like, oh my God, guys, like, please, no picture. No, I haven't gotten stopped.
Okay.
But I do. Did I expect this level of reality? Like, absolutely not. But it has been such a positive, um, I want to say just such a positive like thing in my life, like so many people are open to learning about my culture. And so I am again like just overcome with excitement more than anything else.
Do you still remember what was the very first video that blew up all of a sudden? And what were you doing at the time? Like when you received so many comments and so many likes, maybe like what were you doing at the time? Like how does it make you feel?
The first video was, oh, the first video was the video that I posted where I was like, if you're seeing this on your For You page, that means you are Chinese. And at the time, I think I was just at home drinking hot water. Like genuinely, like it was a weekend. I posted a weekend and I noticed that it was doing better than like my typical videos, I want to say. And I was just like, oh, well, this is interesting. But I didn't think too much of it because I eventually just kind of expected the views to plateau or sort of like the growth to stop. But I just kept on posting there and moving forward, which was insane.
Crazy.
Crazy.
good, that's
Sherry, I'm wondering, my question is, if there's one Chinese custom that you could take to a desert island, only one, what would it be and why?
This is more of a modern custom, but I'm gonna have to say sunblock. You know, Chinese people, we really prioritize that skincare, and
It's a good
if
one.
I am in a desert,
Tell me
I need
about
my
it.
sunscreen. I need my big flapper hat. Like,
You know,
do
we
not-
actually have a face bikini, like a special bikini
It's
for
called
your
a face
face.
bikini?
Face bikini,
Wow, I
yeah.
didn't know
Oh,
that.
that's
Yeah,
it.
Have you do you know that the face bikini?
I have seen that on Xiaohongshu, but the thing is, I didn't know it's called a face kini. That is kind of brilliant.
It's so, sometimes when you go to a beach like in Europe or in other countries, it's so easy to recognize my own fellow, like a country fellers.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like we're always like holding
Umbrella.
umbrellas and putting on a lot of like face bikinis and like wearing
Yeah, I'm
long
wondering if you get
sleeves.
weird tan lines though from that.
That's
If
exactly,
you're,
yeah.
That's got to
Yeah,
look
yeah.
odd.
Yeah, we look really heavy on this sun thing.
But I mean,
Makes
it's no
sense. It
wonder.
does make
Yeah,
sense.
it's no wonder Chinese people are always looking so youthful and beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, it's always so nice hearing like all this funny experience you're sharing with us, and we will get back to you pretty soon because now I'm really curious about your becoming Chinese moment. Like you've been in China for 2 years and half a year right now. Like when was the moment you realized that, oh, wait a minute, I probably am a Chinese now?
Yeah.
I don't
You go
know. I
first.
think for me, something very simple, but eating with chopsticks every day.
Oh,
Because
okay.
back home, I would just eat with chopsticks when I went out to a Chinese restaurant, or if I was having sushi or whatever the case may be. But it's a daily thing. I mean, even going to the canteen at work, you're eating with chopsticks. So I mean, I'm a chopsticks professional.
And you can get
Baddie.
the tiniest kind of little
Exactly, like 1 grain of
objects, right?
rice.
1 grain of
Do you
rice.
find it difficult to use it at first?
It depends on who you ask. I think I'm a pro, but I mean, I know that I have some friends who look at me with a bit of a side eye, and they're like, "Is she gonna make it?" It's like, yeah. So,
I can
Still, the really heavy objects are hard, right? Like
yeah,
getting the whole steak, in one chopstick.
absolutely.
That's
What about you,
that's-
Freddie?
I think the moment for me was probably, I think it was just a dinner with my girlfriend after work, and we ordered a dessert. I ordered a cheesecake, and I was like, wow, this is so nice, this cheesecake. It's not too sweet.
Yeah, actually.
And Q, my girlfriend's response was like, wow, you're Chinese. Like, she didn't say you're a Chinese baddie, but she was like, you're Chinese? Like, something not being too sweet is the best compliment you can possibly give for anything. And I felt like that has translated now at work, where, I will say, wow, that's not sweet, that's really nice. It tastes good still. And going back to the UK for Christmas, I just couldn't deal with the amount of sugar
Yeah, that's
that
true.
was in everything. So yeah, that was probably the moment other people recognized that I was becoming Chinese.
Like you went back to UK for Christmas, right? If I remember if I remember it right. So I'm wondering, like when you're back to your own country, what's the thing that you miss the most about China?
I think it has to be first and foremost the convenience,
Absolutely.
right? I think we
Hands
spoke
down.
about this the other day.
Hands down.
Not having the Wi-Fi, like not having the DD
Absolutely.
available.
Pinduoduo, my favorite.
You know, like public transport is another big thing. I mean, it's just so convenient. But without that, my house slippers, I left them in China and I miss them in the UK.
It actually is very new to me to find out that you people don't wear slippers at home. For me, it's like, what else are you gonna wear if you don't wear slippers? Like
Socks. Or
Socks,
bare feet, some
bare feet.
people.
How dare
I mean,
you?
I wear slippers, but yeah. Not,
Okay.
yeah.
Like Sherry, if you go to visit your like American friend's place, what are you gonna wear?
Well, see, because I visit my American friends' place, and they're American, they will typically, I'll just walk around in socks. Like, do I enjoy it? No, but like, it's a short time, I will stick through it. However, I will say, Freddie, when it comes to travel, I will always pack a pair of house slippers. Like, even when I do like a weekend trip, I am bringing them with me. You know, like I can't live without them. That's a little tip for you. Always pack your house slippers.
I know
The
I
hotel
actually-
slippers are useful when you're here. Like every hotel will have like a pair of slippers that you can grab. That is something that you miss as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
For me, like I don't know, does your parents also tell you this? But like for me, if I standing on the floor with my bare foot, I'm starting to feel like psychologically there's a coldness just rolling all the way down from the ground, all the way through my veins and to my body. Like because that's what my parents been telling me. Like the coldness of the earth is gonna go inside your body, and later there's gonna be one day the consequences will come. And that's the same happen like when I'm drinking cold water, because I have to make a confession. I really don't
I can't
drink.
believe this is sacrilege, by the way.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
I
What
don't
she's
really
about to
drink-
say.
Yeah, hot water that much. I have like a ice. Please don't tell my parents. I have like an ice making machine running at my place 24/7.
Okay.
I really can't help but drink like cold water. But whenever I'm drinking cold water, I feel like I'm committing a crime. Like I just feel like there's gonna be some consequences waiting for me in the future.
Can I ask, are you still talking to your parents now, or are they speaking to you?
Well, like
They cut
they're,
you off?
Yeah.
you know, as an adult, there's certain things they can know, but there's certain things you don't really have to tell them. Like, yeah, because oh, you're drinking hot water, enjoying that hot water, warm water.
Yeah, no, I am because I was in a state of shock. But I'm gonna let you guys talk. Yes, I'm locked in.
Like, what does your parents tell you about drinking hot water? What's the philosophy behind it? What's the reason behind it?
Well, I think right now, because I am in New York and it's like pretty cold outside, it's just like, especially during like a cold temperature, it's like you want to make sure you are properly nourishing your own body. And so for that reason, it's like drinking hot water is very nourishing, hot soups, hot foods, like cold isn't like, if you were to eat like a cold drink or a cold food, you're more likely to get sick. That's also why if I were to like, I never really like walk on the ground without my house slippers. And if I'm at my friend's house, I just sit. I'm not standing on the ground. I'm just sitting. I'm sitting on a chair. I'm sitting somewhere.
I'm not gonna move my feet unless there's slippers right now in front of my eyes.
We
Yeah.
were thinking about bringing slippers today, actually.
Yeah.
But you can't-
These shoes are not.
Your house slippers can't leave the house, so
That's true.
we'd
We need to buy
like
new
studio slippers.
I
CGTN
actually have
slippers.
bathroom slippers, like only for bathroom.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's one thing that I can't go without. Bathroom slippers, I have to, like in the shower.
Yeah, bathroom slippers are. I haven't got that far yet. I'm not that much of a. I don't even know if I can be a Chinese baddie at this point, according to the definition. But yeah, I think definitely, if there was one thing that I miss most about China, going home, it was that sense of like just taking care of your health, going to bed
That's the whole
going to
philosophy.
bed on time, having a structured time that you're eating. You know, I found myself in China like eating like early in the morning and then, you know, having lunch and having dinner at a certain time. Whereas if I was back in the UK, I'd maybe be eating very late at night. And yeah, just find that I'm kind of healthier in a way.
Speaking of
Yeah.
like what you've been doing here, like eating, sleeping regularly, I actually had this theory that my parents been educated me ever since I was a kid. It's like, I don't know, have you heard about this theory, Sherry? So according to, I think one theory belongs to TCM, is that a day has 24 hours and it's divided into 12 different periods according to some Chinese way. And each organ dominates or matches with one period. For example, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., that's the hour of your gallbladder.
This is really wild, this theory.
Yeah, I know, right? 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., I think that's liver, and 3 to 5, that's lung, and 7 to 9, that's the stomach.
Oh, that's my problem.
Yeah.
That's my problem. I've got stomach issues because I don't sleep at the right
During
time.
that specific period, that's where your organ most actively, and that's sometimes you need to eat breakfast, and sometimes you need to lay down and to rest, and it just somehow makes sense. But it does me feel like after 11, if I'm still stay awake after 11 p.m., again I feel guilty again, like I'm living under a lot of guilt. Yeah. But it does make me feel like I need to get to bed early once I realize it's already past 11. So I think a lot of things behind
Is 11
China.
p.m. in your mind all the time, like when you're thinking about it? Like, I need to get to bed before
11 p.m. is definitely a very
Yeah.
momentum time for me.
Yeah.
If I need to calculate how many hours I can sleep, I feel like a lot of things or actions behind Chinese, what we're doing here, related to health or related to well-being, like taking care of your body. What about in your countries? Is there any like philosophy like taking care of yourself, or what kind of actions you've been doing?
Yeah. Well, I think that what I love most about this trend is that it's so relatable because, yes, it's focused around China and these Chinese practices, but there's certain things where I'm like, oh my word, I can relate because my grandmother used to do that. You know, she would sit and soak her feet in hot water. But there are certain things that I've picked up while being in China, like the whole tapping to calm your nervous system.
Like the lymph nodes as well.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Because initially when I saw, and I first saw this in the office because I'd seen some of my colleagues like tapping themselves with objects, and I was like, what is that sound? What is this ASMR in the office? What is going on? And then I'd asked and figured out that this is the new thing, so you'll be finding me tapping away.
Yeah, let's all tap together.
Yeah, as you said, there's definitely some crossover.
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying that Western culture does not want to be healthy whatsoever, but I feel like it goes a bit too far in a way. So you have people like Andrew Huberman saying that, you need to wake up at 5 a.m. and get sunlight in your eyes and have butter and coffee or something. And I think what's great about what Sherry's done is like people find that they can access Chinese culture maybe more easily. It's manageable to have hot water. It's manageable to like wear some house slippers or to get to bed on time. These are things that people can actually
It's so easy to start to try
adopt. Yeah, because I think like in the UK we have, if we're ill, we will have like honey and lemon. That's one thing. So during COVID, I think I tried every supermarket to try and find lemons, and I managed to finally find one. And I think I bought every lemon in the shop. So there is lemon in like the UK as well, but we add honey to it. I'm not sure if in China maybe it's just the lemon water.
Well, it
but
depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes lemon with honey are also acceptable for us.
Yeah.
But I feel like whenever we're having a cold or like if I just sneeze a lot at home, my parents will force me to drink ginger water, like a hot ginger water. What
That's
about
the
you,
thing with
Sherry?
home as well.
Does your parents make you drink?
Oh, sorry. No.
No. Does
I
they
cut you
make
off.
you drink ginger water? Like, do you relate to that?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, my mother boils ginger water all the time. I boil ginger water all the time. My mother, like my brother-in-law, he is like a white American man. Like I don't think he really like had much exposure to Chinese culture. And after like him and my sister started dating, and then eventually now they're married. Like my brother-in-law, like that's the thing that he looks forward to drinking when he's at my house. He's just like, I love the ginger water, like we're boiling the ginger water. He boils ginger water like at his place now, which is kind of funny. But in terms of the lemon, I think I will only do the lemon and honey thing if I were to have like a cold or like if I'm sick, to get the phlegm. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone claims the honey and lemon. I'm not sure where it actually originates.
What about you,
yeah.
Sherry? What, Shanaz?
Well, so fortunately, I was smart enough to bring my own little castor oil from home, because this is quite a popular thing in South Africa, especially if you have stomach issues and digestive issues. Drink a tablespoon of castor oil. Disclaimer, it is not tasty at all, but it does the trick.
You just
Yeah.
drink the
I was
oil?
going to ask
Yeah,
you.
you drink it on a tablespoon. I know
love
for
that.
little kids,
Has it got
They
protein in
usually
it? There's
put
like a strong man on it. It's like,
Can I
is
smell
this
it?
going to make you
yeah,
muscly?
it smells how it tastes.
Smells like oil.
It smells how it
Like
tastes.
oil.
I thought this was a moisturizer at first.
I mean,
but it's actually for health.
it's got multiple uses.
Wow,
so you
wow.
could
Is it
moisturize
common in South Africa that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or at least in my culture, yeah.
Okay.
But I know with little kids, parents would often feed it to them on a tablespoon with custard or sugar to help it go down.
To get everything moving in the body.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially after the holidays.
After a Christmas dinner.
Castor oil, let's see.
Well, I wanted to ask Shanaz, what does it taste like? Like, I was curious.
Yeah, that's a good question. What it looks, God, I can't imagine.
It doesn't have that much
treacly.
flavor or smell, but it does smells like a
I
typical
can't-
oil, like a
It
greasy.
tastes like, if I had to say how it tastes like trauma. That's what it tastes like, to be honest.
It's PTSD.
Of trauma.
Think of it, it smells.
We all have our own PTSD growing up. Like,
It's not too bad, I guess.
Try it after this, please.
South African baddie after this, I guess.
but what would you like explain to your American friends or foreign friends about like why would Chinese people are doing those certain things? Like, can they understand the philosophy behind it, or like, is it easy for them to understand, or they just tried it for fun?
I think when it comes to my friends, they definitely like understand where I don't want to say, like, I think they understand in the fact that they're comprehending what I say. I don't necessarily think that they like understand fully in like the context of like traditional Chinese medicine. And to be quite honest, like as a Chinese American, I actually don't have a lot of exposure in traditional Chinese like medicine. I feel like I get most of my exposure when I'm going back to China or from my parents. But I think that it's more so they're willing to learn and they're willing to sort of like open to learning and embracing sort of traditional Chinese medicine a little bit more. So yeah, I think it comes from a curiosity and more so like a place of like being a student versus like, oh, actually understanding like culturally what this means.
But willing to try it out, that's already the first step. Because like a lot of
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure you've definitely
here you go.
received some comments, like, because I also received some comments like saying that at first they just tried it out for fun, for something new, fresh, but then like they may just they send themselves into a whole path of drinking hot water forever.
No, yeah, that and that's how it was for me. Like as an American, I also like, you know, like growing up, I had cold breakfast too, like here and there. I mean, my mother would cook pretty frequently. But yeah, like did I have my bowl of cereal and milk? Yeah, like I would have it once in a while, but it's all about like you first start implementing and eventually it just becomes a habit. And I think that's kind of how it is for like all habits in general. But yeah, I see a lot of people in my comments telling me that they started drinking hot water just like a cup in the morning and now they do it like daily. Like it's crazy.
Freddie, I remember like you shared with me before about one thing that you feel like when you just arrived in China, you found this so like there's no way I'm gonna try it, but now you become like get used to it. Can you share with us also the story?
Specifically with hot water, right?
Just yeah, like being Chinese, there's something that you didn't want to try. You found it strange.
I see. Yeah.
at first.
So I think I'm sure you know about this, Sherry, as well, coming here recently, but the Waimai sort of craze, I was kind of surprised that people would order it so much. I was like, I even saw one person in my apartment building just order a single coffee, and I was like, that seems like a lot of like a lot of work for that poor delivery driver to like be delivering one coffee. That doesn't happen too often, but I kind of took a stance against doing that too much when I first came here. I was like, I don't want to get them out in the cold.
That's exactly how I feel.
You know, it's freezing here in Beijing. Like they're on a e-scooter, whatever. But I must admit, I have been ordering Waimai more and more. It's just so convenient, and obviously, like Yanping, you can order like literally anything. Tennis balls if you want it. I was playing tennis, and a friend of mine was like, "Oh, we don't have enough tennis balls. Let's order some now." And I couldn't believe it. About 10 minutes later, delivery driver with brand new tennis balls comes along, and I was just, would never happen in the Western world. It's like a level of convenience.
Are you still willing to order delivery food if you just want to get only one cup of coffee nowadays?
I don't think I could do that to the poor delivery driver. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready? I have a question. What was your first Waimai order?
Gosh, I'm going to say coffee, right? First Waimai order. You know what? I don't actually remember. It might have been pizza. I'm going to have to say that it might have been. Surprisingly, the Italian food in Beijing is amazing. So when I first came here, I was sort of in my comfort zone slightly, and I think I must have ordered a pizza or something.
You can order hot pot, like
hot pot, yeah.
Deliver for hot pot, like
Hippo?
they just prepared
Yeah.
every equipment for you, the candles, like
I didn't know that.
little alcohol line for you, and also the pot for you, like one-time plastic pot or something.
Oh,
like
wow.
that. Yeah, you can just
Gotta try.
assemble all the stuff together at home, like to make your own hot pot.
Yeah, I've seen Hippo do that, right? Yeah, like other supermarkets
I'm
and
like
stuff.
huge addicted to that. What about you? What's the first Waimai you got?
Probably groceries. And I felt so bad. Like I had that guilt of, oh no, this poor driver has to come deliver. I'm sure I'm going to pass the grocery store on my way to work or on my way somewhere.
Groceries are a big one, right?
But yeah.
Is it a regular part of your kind of weekly?
Yeah, so it's a weekly shopping
Yeah.
routine, and I think where I feel bad is when I'm craving something, let's say cheesecake. I'm like, oh, but now I have to add more to my cart because he can't just come all this way just for a cheesecake.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It is a source of guilt for sure. I don't know if that goes away. It hasn't really gone away totally, but.
Do you feel that way as someone who's Chinese and has lived here all your
Yeah,
life?
it's good.
You mean the
question.
guilt of like
Yeah,
only
yeah.
ordering few, like, well, there
Just
was
ordering a lot, like the level of,
I think there was actually a debate came up on Chinese internet a few years ago about debating whether we should actually call deliver food during like heavy rainy days or like snowy days. But some would say that because a lot of people who's choosing to do this job, like deliver men, they make a living by how many deals they've been running, how many errands they've been running. So
I
by
see.
ordering that, you're actually helping them to get like a better life.
Commission or
Yeah.
that.
So,
Okay.
but sometimes when I feel really bad or the weather's really like extreme, I will give them extra
tip.
kind of like tip, to make up my like sense of guilty.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, have you tried deliver food when you're traveling in China?
You must love it.
Is there any food you miss so much?
Well, to be quite honest, when I'm traveling in China, I am like on foot most of the time, like I'm like walking here and there. So most of the time when I like eat, I'm like eating at restaurants. But there was this one time where I actually attempted at trying to order Waimai, but for some reason, like I think my Wi-Fi or whatever it was just like it didn't end up working, which was fine. But I tried to order cake. It was like after dinner, and I was like, Mom, like I really want cake. And then we tried, and it didn't work. And I was like, I'm taking this as my sign to be healthy. So I guess I'm gonna hit snooze,
No, the cakes look amazing online for sure. There are some
It's
great.
so good. It's so good, and it's like you said, they're never too sweet. Like that's the thing that really hits. They're never too sweet. It's perfect balance. Perfect balance.
And I don't know, how does it like in when you're in US, when you're ordering bubble tea, but like in China, you can even choose how much sugar you want to put inside.
Yeah.
Like very tiny sugar or like a normal sugar or like there's a lot of options for you.
I don't know. I've never seen a honey option though. I wish they had a honey option, like when you order a matcha. Or,
Like a more healthy
yeah.
kind of option. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I think when we talked earlier, you mentioned about there's like about this trend right now. A lot of people view this trend as a very positive thing.
Yeah.
However,
I think, Sherry, you mentioned earlier that it is a bit of a delicate dance. And, you know, there's the one side who are appreciating this trend and saying, yes, I'm going to jump on this bandwagon. But on the other side, you also have a bunch of people saying, this is cultural appropriation, or, you know, this is not cool. Have you had any negative response to it? And how do you feel about it?
I think my outlook has always been just, growing up, I recognized from an early age that my culture has been a great source of happiness for me, whether that be like family support, because, Chinese families are really like close knit, whether that be, the food that I eat, whether that be, like the guidance from my teachers, sort of the guidance that I have in school. Like Chinese culture has always been a big source of happiness for me. And I think that I've recognized from an early age too that it brought a lot of benefit to my life. And so for that reason, like growing up, I definitely wanted to share that. Whether or not like people were willing to listen, I feel like that was a different story. But now that I have like a large audience of people willing to learn about Chinese culture, and so many people have been implementing sort of the traditional like just daily habits, like something as simple as drinking hot water.
Yeah.
I think like seeing them sort of like have that benefit and like also like share that joy brings me a lot of happiness, because at the end of the day, I think that like happiness is contagious and it should be contagious and it should remain that way. And so just sharing and extending that culture is, I always view as like a positive thing, and I hope to continue doing that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it really seems like you are becoming a bridge almost between sort of Western culture and Chinese culture. Do you see yourself fitting into that role and becoming an ambassador almost for those two worlds and managing that?
I think that it takes more than just one person to really become a bridge, So I I think that right now I have like a large audience, and I'm happy to do that, and I want to continue doing that because again, it's all about just sharing the culture, sharing the happiness. So for that reason, I am more than willing to continue like sharing my culture on both ends, but I think it's going to take more than just me. And so I hope that I also empower more like American Chinese people, British Chinese people to also like be that bridge as well.
I think that's
Yeah.
also the reason why why we're sitting here doing this. We're also like part of this bridge to help outside world understand China better, a little bit. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And also people gatekeeping. It's kind of odd, isn't it? Like to tell you, you're not allowed to do that. I'm real Chinese, you're not real Chinese, or something
Yeah.
like this. It's like, everyone has their authentic experience
Yeah.
that they have, full freedom to share with everyone.
Yeah.
So
And whether or
gate-
not you've traveled to China, because I think for me, there's certain experiences I wouldn't have known about if I hadn't moved to China. And I think trends like this opens the world,
Yeah.
opens China up to the rest of the world, and lets them experience it in a way that they maybe wouldn't have.
Yeah, and I think people are appreciating China as well. I think we spoke about this the other day, for more than, traditionally kung fu or
Yeah, pandas.
pandas or whatever. Like people
Yeah.
are actually getting to know the ins and outs of Chinese culture a little bit more, the real side of it. And social media has seemed to have been the kind of facilitator for that.
And I noticed you've also opened an account on like some Chinese social media platforms.
Xiaohongshu,
For example,
right?
Xiaohongshu, like Red Note and
Seen it,
Douyin.
yeah.
Like, what's the reaction of the users there to you? Have you ever received any like funny feedbacks or interesting feedbacks from them?
It's a good question.
On Xiaohongshu, it's been kind of funny because I have seen people online just telling me like, they're like, Sherry, like, are you aware of this? They're calling you cousin Sherry. It's like, you're not their cousin. I'm like, no, it's a way of saying. No, yeah, but I love it on Xiaohongshu. Like I used it when I was traveling in China. Great restaurant recommendations.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 experience. I'm staying on. I'm keeping that account.
And this, like, all of a sudden, this becomes such a hit over, like, all of the world. And I'm really curious to know what's your opinion on the reasons behind this. Like, why? Including you, Sherry, why, in your mind, like, why did this become such a hit?
Becoming Chinese or just like the
Becoming
daily
Chinese, like
lifestyle
this
habits?
phenomenon.
The whole
Like, yeah.
The trend, yeah.
I think for a long time, like growing up, the way I observed is there hasn't been a lot of exposure to Chinese culture, and it's as you said, Freddie, where it's like there's a lot of depth to Chinese culture, and just like if you just see it from surface level, you're not going to get much out of it. But I think since I have sort of introduced, like something as simple as like daily lifestyle habits, people sort of recognize like, wow, traditional Chinese culture, there's a lot of depth to it. China is sort of a country with rich in history, rich in culture. And for that reason, like there is so much more to learn. And so I think there is that initial reaction for sure. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts as well.
Totally, yeah, no, that really resonates with what I was thinking as well. I think people have these stereotypes about Chinese culture, and as with many international news events and phenomenons, I think what you have done, it's kind of a combination of how you've presented it in a really funny, humorous way that people can get on board, like the Ice Bucket Challenge in 2014, where people are like, they get really psyched up about something and they're very open to it. I think also with the new year in the West, coinciding with that, people are up for trying something new with their lives, and often health is a massive
absolutely
focus for that as well. But social media has changed everything, I think. Whereas people would consume Chinese culture through films, maybe martial arts films or something. Now they're consuming it through TikTok, through Instagram. So you can see real people, not, cardboard cutouts of,
For me, I feel like...
That's...
Sorry, continue.
Sorry. Oh my God, you go first.
I was saying, like, for me, I feel like because we're now all under a lot of pressure, and I feel like trying out the Chinese life of a Chinese way of living is actually a way to help to fight against the anxiety of the society, and because all about at the end of the day, being Chinese, becoming Chinese is still about finding a very healthy way to live or have like make yourself feel comfortable, I would say. Yeah, by trying hot water or like wearing slippers at home. At the end of the day, it's gonna make you feel a little bit cozy, feel chill at home. So like that can better help us to fight against the like I said, the pressure,
like anxiety kind of thing.
Anxiety of the
So
world.
calming your chi, I think, is what you said the other day.
Yeah, and yin and yang. I think that's behind that's the fundamental philosophy of the TCM. I think. Yeah. What's your take on this?
I think because it's so specifically focused on wellness as well, the world is on a wellness wave. That is why things like collagen and the red light masks are doing so well. And I think people are willing to try anything that's good for them.
Yeah, people start to like, because back into the old days, sometimes people were just focusing on hustling and getting money. But now let's just like, I think this is a trend in whole world. Let's like take a pause and look inner self, take care of our like inner self.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, I think that's another trend of that sync with the trend what we're having right now of becoming Chinese. So overall, if you look at this trend, how do you view this phenomenon? Do you think it's going to last for a very long time in the future?
Don't hate me, Sherry, please. But I do think that this, as most trends, it is going to fade away. But like you'd mentioned earlier, Sherry, that you are planning on continuing with this and pushing this narrative and doing the positive work to push China out to the rest of the world, which is excellent. But I do think that it will fade out just because something new, something fresh will pop up. It's the same like other trends that we've seen come and go. I mean, Labubu was this massive thing, which it still is, but it's not the top talking point right now. So,
What's your view on that, Sherry?
It's a big topic.
I
Boo-boo.
think, I think that with all trends, I agree that eventually, like, the heat of it will fade away. But I think that the more sort of important, the more important takeaway is that I hope that it opens up, people's sort of view on Chinese culture. And I think that that's more important to me. And if people's sort of view on Chinese culture sort of opens up, then that leads to more learning down into the future. And that's essentially, like, I feel like what matters the most is that people are, at the end of the day, willing to learn about Chinese culture and, like, keep it up. Whether or not they're going to continue implementing their habits is one thing, but a willingness to learn is what matters the most.
Oh, that's very well said.
Yeah, well said.
Even though I like to keep our conversation with our Chinese baddies, you include Freddie for this time. I'll continue
Thank
forever,
you.
but we do come to a end of our show today. Even that said, I still want to hear, because we're now coming to the Chinese Spring Festival, the next will be the Year of Horse coming up very soon. Do you have anything you want to share or say to our audience? And what's your plan ahead in terms of making this content creation and also your life?
Okay. Well, for Lunar New Year, I think that everyone beforehand, I spoke about this on my TikTok, but I'm willing to repeat it. Make sure before the day, you definitely cut your hair. We're cutting away the bad luck. Also, if you are the Year of the Horse, just buy red clothing so that way, on the day, you wear red. It's very important, to just lock in all the good prosperity and keep away the bad energy. In terms of what my plans are for the future, definitely I am gonna go to my parents' house because my mom I'm gonna eat good food. She makes incredible Chinese food. And in the direction of my content, I'm gonna continue spreading Chinese culture. And honestly, I think I'm gonna continue writing pop songs in Chinese too, just because, I wanna share the Chinese language as well. So yeah, that's going to be something on my radar. How about you guys?
Oh, that's so lovely. I think, well, maybe go to Shanaz first.
I mean, this will be my second Chinese New Year, and I'm just excited to experience it all. And I'm excited to be here experiencing it all. So I have no specific plans, but I will be in Beijing. Yeah.
Something that I realized that becoming Chinese moment was buying presents for people at Christmas is so difficult. And I was just thinking so often, how much easier would it be if you could give them a hongbao and just not have to worry about, going to a department store and asking them for a gift list. So I think that's something that I really love doing at Chinese New Year, sending out hongbaos. And
so we can expect hongbao from you.
Yeah, absolutely. It
Right.
might not have
Careful, you said it in front of the camera. There is evidence. I'm going to come after you.
but hopefully watching the CCTV gala, of course, that's something that's really, and I know it's a bit passé for some older, maybe for the younger generation, but I'm still super excited about the CCTV gala.
Me too. Well, every year we have CGTN, we have our own version of Super Night on about the Spring Festival Gala. So I'm also part of a little one segment of the show, so please stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
And for me personally, I feel like just taking care of yourself this wave just actually reminded me to take care of my body for next year. That's my whole plan because the previous year I worked so hard, and next year I'm going to continue to work hard so my boss can relieve. But I will also take care of my body at the same time. And also I find very amazing about this whole trend is that it just, like I mentioned earlier, it just made me rethink about what I'm leaving, the surrounding, the China. That because there are so many things I took for granted before, but now I can pose and to rethink, why did we do this? And what does this whole thing make me feel? So what I'm gonna do also is to travel more and to reopen my eyes to watch and to observe the world, to observe China, and also share with the audience over all of the world. And I think that will coming to the end of our show, and our Hype, this program will be broadcasted on like a lot of social media platforms, including CGTN website, X, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, and Chinese WeChat, and BJ, a lot of social media platforms. So please stay tuned for our coming up more episodes. And yeah, coming to the end of the show, how about let's cheer up together?
Yeah, let's have another cheers. Wow.
Have you drank
Stay
your
healthy.
hot water
Cheers to you,
today?
Sherry.
Stay hydrated.
Cheers, Sherry.
Cherry, cheers.
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 So good.
So
Okay,
good.
yeah.
So healthy.
I think that will be the end.